Welcome to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. Each month, we'll feature business and community leaders sharing their stories, initiatives, concerns, and passions. Learn practical information regarding community resources and opportunities. Now, the host of Business Voice, Greece Regional Chamber President and CEO, Sarah Lentini.
Hi, everybody. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Bartolomeo and Perotto Funeral Home. I'm Sarah Lentini, your host, and I'm also the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber. We've got a great show for you today, starting with my first guest, GRB President and CEO, Phil Pecora. Welcome, Phil.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you on the show. We've had actually a number of folks from your wonderful organization on the show before, and it's my great pleasure to finally have you come on as our guest, my guest. GRB, of course, stands for Genesee Regional Bank, which is a wonderful community bank here in the greater Rochester region. Tell us a little bit about GRB.
So, Sarah, this year on St. Patty's Day was my 19th anniversary at the bank. So
Wow.
I thought it was my 20th, but I was told by my chief operating officer, Elena, that it's only been 19 years. But certainly it's been a great run. But we're locally owned and headquartered here in Rochester. The greater Rochester area is our primary focus as a bank, and we've had a great run.
Yeah.
What I tell people often is, the beauty about community banking is we serve the local community, and the small business community is a big part of our focus. And much like our customers, we're a small business ourselves. So it's an exciting space to be in. 19
years is absolutely wonderful. Nothing to sneeze at. That's quite the accomplishment. Congratulations. It's not quite the 20 years that you had in mind, but happy anniversary early. Happy 20th as well.
Thank you.
So the bank is not all that old. When was the bank formed? Were you there at the very beginning? How long had it been around?
Yeah, so no, I was not here from the beginning. So Phil Saunders is our chairman, and he kind of was here from the beginning since we've been Genesee Regional Bank. He and Dante Gullo acquired the bank in 1996, and acquired's probably a strong word, but they purchased the bank from, it's a long story, but from ITT Corporation. It was a bank holding company, but at that time it was really a banking New York State banking charter that they purchased. There wasn't much of a bank to be said, and their vision was to create a community bank focused here in Rochester. Over the years, unfortunately, community banks, there's been a lot of consolidation. So at the time, I give them credit, they saw a real need to establish a community banking presence here in Rochester.
That's great. And how long ago was that, did you say?
So that was 1996.
96. Really not. Yeah. I mean, I know I'm dating myself.
25th annivery last year.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That's great. Thank you for doing the math for me. Yeah. So, and Phil Saunders is, a bit of a legend in the business community here in the region and nationally. I mean, but he happens to be a regional. A regional son, as it were, right?
For sure, yeah. I mean, a storied entrepreneur, really focused. Most of his career has been in New York State with a variety of different businesses, most of it in the travel business, trucking, and the energy space. But, being such a successful entrepreneur over the years, he certainly has dealt with his fair share of banks. Back in the day, he served on the board of Security Trust, which subsequently was acquired a few different times, Fleet Bank, now Bank of America. So Phil had some experience with a smaller, locally focused community bank that was acquired several times over, is now obviously a mega bank with Bank of America. But
wow.
So that's really our story, right? I mean, Phil through his business experience saw the real need for a community bank presence here in town.
Yeah, a true visionary. That's great. And having been there 19 years and, only being, 30 years old, I can't even imagine that you did anything before working for GRB. But how did you have a background in banking, or did you just know you wanted to do that?
Yeah, so I actually started my career at M&T Bank in Buffalo, and then I moved here to Rochester as a commercial banker, both in small business and in middle market, and before I took the leap over here. So, Sarah, at one time I was considered a young bank president and CEO, and I don't hear that very often anymore. So
No, you still are. You still are. Hence my comments. You're a very young community leader. of an important institution. So I understand that this is Community Banking Month. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's wonderful. I didn't even know that, and it's therefore a perfect moment to be recognizing GRB and learning more about you guys. And I just also want to say thank you because GRB. You and your team have been very involved with the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce over a number of years, and of course, you've been the signature, the lead funder, the signature funder, the presenting sponsor of our Small Business Awards program and luncheon, which has been going on for over a decade. Of course, very important to us, near and dear to our hearts and to yours as well. And we couldn't do that without you guys. And of course, you've also been premium members. You've been a steady presence on our board. You've had at least a couple of folks, very, very good folks, very fine folks who are on our board. So I just want to say thank you because I actually think, that's sort of a good segue. Part of what a community bank does is, to participate with community organizations such as chambers of commerce. I'm guessing that's by design, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, everything you just talked about is very near and dear to our hearts. Small business is really our DNA, as I mentioned earlier. We're a small business, and we serve the small business community. And our success is breeded by the fact that by the success of our clients. So it's really in our own selfish interest to help those businesses grow and thrive and prosper. And by extension, it helps the community. So it's very much part of who we are as a community bank, for sure.
And you now have, you've got several locations throughout the county and the region, right? Where are those? I know you've got one in Greece, for sure.
At one time, Sarah, when I started certainly here 19 years ago, oftentimes people would judge or measure banks' success and growth by the number of branches they have. That has changed a lot over the years. And in fact, when I started at the bank, we had 5 locations. Today we have 3. But we've grown from $40 million in assets to $1 billion in assets. So that tells you, and obviously with those numbers and assets comes customers, and we certainly serve a much larger population of both personal and retail customers than we did 19 years ago. And, I think that's an important part of community banking. Community banking really, what makes a community bank, what sets them apart is the personal relationships that we develop and our keen focus on serving the community, right? So we take deposits locally, we then turn around and lend those out in the local community. But that doesn't mean we can be lazy, and we have to keep pace with the times, and technology has certainly been an important part of our business. But, I often say technology is a great complement to our personal service that we deliver to our clients because, the fintechs of the world, the faceless banks that can do transactions, just through a website or what have you, a device, they'll never compete with us that can develop those personal relationships. And the personal relationships are so important. Certainly as a business owner, you want to have a partnership with your bank to help you grow. And the same thing for an individual, right? You think about things that we focus our time on is really the small business customer, and the homeowner. And those are, the business owner has to have a strong relationship with their bank, as does the individual buying their first house, their second house. I mean, that's for most people their biggest asset. So you want to have a real partnership with your financial institution. And to me, the face of a community bank will always be important because of that.
Yeah. I've said to lots of folks that as time marches on here and as things evolve in the community as a whole and the business community specifically, that I think the folks who have really mastered customer service, the very fine art of customer service, are the ones that can distinguish themselves and that will ultimately survive, because it's something that seems to be falling by the wayside in many quarters, and it's still incredibly important. Perhaps it's even more important in an era of such tremendous technology. It's great to have some automated, some automated services, websites, et cetera. But at the end of the day, you do want to deal with a human being. You want to be sure you know who you're dealing with, and you want to talk to somebody who's human and has, that fine breadth of experience that comes with being a human being, so that you get a much more sophisticated answer, a much more complete answer to any number of questions when you're talking to a pro. And one of the things that I have noticed time and again, and that we really appreciate about working with you guys, is that I honestly think I know the vast majority of the staff. Right. And when we have an issue, I can reach out to one person or a couple of people or three, and I get almost immediate response, and people treat me as if I'm I'm really the only issue that they have on their plate for the morning, and I'm sure I'm one of a bazillion issues. That's customer service.
Yeah, that's such an important point because, it's so simple, right? You want to make a phone call and have someone answer the phone, and unfortunately, to the point you were making earlier, technology, I think, has become overly reliant. Businesses have relied on it too much, and they've lost that personal connection. So, we've all sat in those phone loops or on hold forever, saying, your call's important to us, but we're very busy right now, so we'll be with you in an hour and 20 minutes. That doesn't bode well when you're dealing with your financial matters, right?
No.
You want to be able to talk to somebody.
No, it's
promptly.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's not satisfying at all. So kudos to you for continuing to have the personal touch. So let's talk about the services you guys offer, because you're a community bank with a pretty robust portfolio of things that you offer. What sorts of things do you have? Obviously, checking and savings accounts, but that kind of goes without saying. But what else?
Yeah, part of what we've always been wed to is keeping it simple, right? So we say it's plain vanilla banking. We stick to the things we do very, very well at. Mm-hmm. And, our core, as I said, has always been serving the small business arena here in the greater Rochester area. We've been the number one SBA lender for the past 2 years, and we take great pride in that. Particularly considering who we compete against, the larger institutions. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of our lead, but also we have a very robust residential mortgage program. The past 2 years, we've done $450 million in residential mortgage loans, helping folks purchase their first home, second homes, or refinance their houses. So those are our two primary drivers. But then again, I always say we lead with small business, but then the retail bank is still very important, and we like to serve the businesses that we bank on the commercial side. We want to also take care of those individuals who make up those businesses on the retail side. So, on the retail side, we certainly have the whole complement of loan and deposit products out there. Home equity lines of credit are something that we are very strong in. We purposely avoid some of the other ancillary products that many of the larger banks get themselves into, like insurance or investment products. We feel let's focus on the things that we do really, really well, and I think that's part of community banking, is not trying to be everything to everybody, but really focusing on the things that you're really good at. So as you mentioned earlier, we can provide that very high level of service. And then we leave the other stuff. We have great referral partners, and as a consequence of that, we have a ton of investment folks and insurance folks who are great customers, because they know we may refer business to them, but we're certainly not going to compete against them. So that's been a great compliment, actually, and a big part of what we do, actually staying out of their business directly.
It sounds like a smart strategy. You're right. There are a lot of companies out there that are indeed trying to be everything to everybody, and probably spread a little too thin. So the focus of the bank is community banking. How big a geography is that? Do you have are there boundary lines? I have no idea how banking works.
Yeah, so really it's defined, our market area is defined as the greater Rochester region, so, Monroe County and all the surrounding counties there. So it's pretty broad. Mm-hmm. I would say 70% or so is really focused on Monroe County, and then the rest sprinkled around. But really, this is our backyard and what we focus on. Now, that being said, a couple of years ago, we did enter the Syracuse market for our residential mortgage business. And so I had mentioned earlier, we did about $450 million in residential mortgages last year. And of that 450, I would say 50 to 70 million or so was generated out of the Syracuse region. Wow. But for the most part, really, the greater Rochester area is our real focus. And so where do we go? I said that we grew from 40 million to $1 billion. So that's a tremendous amount of growth. We feel like we can continue to grow at that pace and really stay true to our roots here in this area.
You must have read my mind. That was exactly what I was going to ask you, because the growth is phenomenal, and I wondered whether there was a limitation by virtue of staying in this region. But it sounds like you think that the growth potential is still there without having to look too far outside of the greater Rochester area. So that's actually really good news for greater Rochester, right?
I think it's great news for Greater Rochester, and it's great news for our employees. I tell them all the time, it's an exciting place to be, to know that we have great growth opportunity here locally without having to think about outgrowing what differentiates us and makes us so good, right? I mean, because that's really what a community bank is you're banking in your backyard. Mm-hmm. And that local focus is really, again, that's really what differentiates you and makes you compete so well against the larger banks.
Yep. And you, we already talked about, how very involved you are with the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce and how you've been the original and the long-standing presenting sponsor of our Small Business Awards event every year. But I'm sure there are some other things that you're really committed to in the community. Are there other passions our listeners might be interested in?
For me personally, certainly getting involved in the community is something that's very important to me, and I preach that to our entire organization. We now have over 160 employees, and wow. we within the organization here, we have a wellness committee and a community-focused community that we have outreach to other charitable organizations that we really promote. I personally have been the chairman of the board at McQuaid Jesuit for the past, I've been on the board, Sarah, for 13 years. I've been the chair for, I think this is my last year. I think I've been the chair now. This will be my 5th year on the board at McQuaid, which has been something near and dear to me. It's where I graduated from high school.
An alum? Okay, cool.
I am an alum, and my son actually graduated last year, and he's at Boston College now, so I'm very proud of him. Awesome. But that's been a great place. And then, another great local asset we have is Oak Hill Country Club, and although that's not a charity, it's something I involved myself in as a member. I'm on the board at Oak Hill and the treasurer, and then there's a bunch of other charitable organizations, the Italian Heritage Foundation that I've been a proud board member of. Now I'm the vice president of. That organization is really focused on raising funds to support Catholic and private education here in Rochester, which has been really rewarding to me to be involved in that. And then there's some bank community organizations that I'm involved with as well. Ibanez, which is Independent Bankers Association of New York, which obviously is very tied in line with our conversation here, promoting community banking, not only in Western New York, but across the entire state of New York.
Oh, that sounds like a very full plate and lots of wonderful community gems that are sprinkled throughout that list. So we thank you so much for everything that you and your team do for the Greater Rochester community. I'm especially grateful to for what you do for the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce and our membership and the business membership in the community. If anybody listening has an interest in connecting with the bank, what's the best way for them to do that?
We're all right. Our website is grbbank.com, and if you go into the contact section of the website, we're all listed there. So we always welcome people to call any of us, including myself. I'm always happy to hear from customers and prospective customers, and it's part of being a community bank.
Wonderful. Phil Pecora, President and CEO of Genesee Regional Bank, GRB. Thank you so much for being a guest on Business Voice.
Sarah, thank you, and thank you for all you do for the community.
Oh, thanks so much. All right, don't go away. We're going to be right back with my next guest. Don't flip that dial.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. At Bartolomeo and Perotto Funeral Home, the focus is always on how your loved one lived. Bartolomeo and Perotto has been helping families create meaningful tributes and celebrating unique lives for 3 generations. They treat your family like their own, always with the utmost compassion, warmth, and care. When you're in need, call Bartolomeo and Perotto Funeral Home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 720-6000.
If you're looking for an opportunity to play a vital role in the fast-growing field of healthcare, a way to be part of the healthcare solution, helping patients achieve better outcomes, then consider earning a degree in medical assisting from Bryant and Stratton College. Medical assistants are multi-skilled health professionals specifically educated to perform administrative and clinical duties focused on providing quality patient care. You find medical assistants in healthcare and administrative settings, from a hospital laboratory to healthcare clinics. There's still time to enroll this May and learn more about a career in medical assisting today at bryantstratton.edu or call 585-720-0660. With 2 convenient campus locations in Henrietta and Greece, your rewarding healthcare career is waiting for you at Bryant and Stratton College. For important program information, please visit bryantstratton.edu.
Gift yourself a blah-free 2022. Boost your mood and your health in a blink and start the year off right. Blink Fitness is your fun, friendly neighborhood gym with tons of state-of-the-art equipment and a mood above muscle attitude. Join for $1 and get all the perks. What do you have to lose? Blink Fitness Greece is located at 2833 West Ridge Road in the Wegmans Ridgemont Plaza. Join today and experience feel-good fitness in a blink.
Depositing your money with Genesee Regional Bank helps strengthen the local community. That's because GRB lends its deposits so the community can grow and prosper. Genesee Regional Bank. Community banking, community building.
Visit grbbank.com. Member FDIC.
The one media outlet you can count on. The voice of liberty. The WYSL stations.
Welcome back. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Bartolomeo and Perotto Funeral Home. I'm Sarah Lentini, your host. I'm also the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber, and I'm delighted to welcome my next guest, Christina Gullo, president and CEO of Villa of Hope. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you. Great to be on.
Yeah, great to have you on. I don't think we've ever had you on the show before, so I'm especially excited. So I'm going to hopefully be learning a lot about Villa of Hope. I know, of course, you guys are a wonderful community organization, longtime member of the Greece Regional Chamber. Thank you very much. But tell us about Villa of Hope. What's its focus, and what are you guys doing? And of course, we're going to want to hear what's new. But let's start with what you've been doing.
Sure, absolutely. And, you know, I'm sure many people remember us as St. Joseph's Villa. Been in the community a very long time, since 1942. And it was very much started as an orphanage and then very much a residential provider through the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and into the 2000s. So over the last 10 years, we've really been working on a strategy transformation in terms of community need and really the shift and change in long-term residential services to more community-based services. And so today, our 4 core program areas are work-based learning. And so we work with a number of community partners in businesses, manufacturing and trades, and we have job coaches that help people get employed and stay employed. We have behavioral health continuum, which has our outpatient clinic, as well as rehab beds, and then an exciting new building on our main campus on Dewey Ave, which is 18 detox beds.
Wow.
They'll be the only beds for 16 and 17-year-olds actually in the region. So unfortunate that it's such a needed program right now, but exciting that the Villa was able to step up and be able to do that. So hopefully I'll be talking to you soon about that grand opening in the June time frame.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. We'd love to come and celebrate with you, mark the occasion. That's a big deal and a unique resource. So do you work primarily with children, with teenagers, with young adults? What are the ages?
Great question. So that's been the other shift and change as well over this last decade. So mainly we were all youth and families before this, and today I would say that we are probably about 60-40, so 60% more adults and young adults, and 40% children. So our outpatient clinic, our detox beds, our workforce development, all of those serve adults as well.
That's great. And families I heard in there as well, because you kind of can't serve an individual without having a little bit of family context, I imagine.
Yep. You need the whole person, the whole family. Yep.
Wow. And is the geography that you serve sort of Monroe County, or how big a footprint?
Mainly Monroe County. Most of our programs are Monroe County, and then we have a few of our outlier counties that we actually hire people in those counties to help with care coordination and be able to have access to services. So, like mainly Erie and Livingston and Genesee.
Wow! So you must have quite a large staff, I would think, right?
About 350. Yep, we're about $20 million.
In terms of budget, that's a big organization. And it needs to be. I mean, it's a critical need that you're filling. But it makes you important in terms of job retention and creation for our area. I would imagine that you also need people that have specific skills, right?
Yes, and let me say, I'm sure everybody, right, is struggling with workforce and finding, the skills and competencies needed for us. Mm-hmm. It is critically important that we have licensed clinicians and therapists mm-hmm. for our behavioral health continuum, and right now, registered nurses. So the detox program is a medical detox, and so it's really important that we have skilled RNs on our team to be able to provide those services, and that's probably our toughest area right mm-hmm. now. And so I know if the hospital systems are having a tough time, we're certainly having a tough time.
Yeah, I think this is an issue across the board. We're hearing it and seeing it more and more, but of course it becomes in your area. It's especially critical. These aren't positions. These are not positions you can do without. So, mm-hmm. is there if there are people that are listening out there that are RNs with experience and they might have interest in working with you, for that matter, if maybe people out there that are interested in getting services from you, how would they reach you? What's the best way? Is there a web address or?
Yes. So the web address is villaofhope.org. You can go right to that website, and there'll be a career page if mm-hmm. Anybody's interested in looking at opportunities and applying. If anybody's interested in services or needing services, that website also gives you a centralized intake number to contact, which can can help you get connected not only with programs in the villa, but also our team is very knowledgeable about any other resources within the community as well.
That's great. And then are there organizations that are sort of natural partners for you guys? Because it sounds like you're dealing with, very broad age ranges, but you're dealing with, it sounds as though there might be, addiction, chemical dependency issues that you're tackling. But especially mm-hmm. if you're dealing with, seeing families, you may be seeing other sorts of issues within the family, and maybe some of them might be better handled by somebody else. Do you have some natural partners in the community, or places that people graduate to, or places that people get referred to? How do you fit mm-hmm. within what's your
mm-hmm.
your great chain of being, as it were?
Yeah, so in our substance use and mental health continuum, we have rehab beds as kind of a step down from detox mm-hmm. For 21 and under. So if somebody is over 21 and needs a rehab bed, that's where we can partner with either the hospital system. East House as well has a number of supportive living mm-hmm. units, and so we work a lot with them as well. For our care coordination, of course, we're linking with all kinds of providers mm-hmm. that may have food link for food, clothing, housing, and any of those factors. Our staff is great in terms of the knowledge and skill sets with making those connections throughout our community.
That's great. How long have you been running Villa of Hope, Christina?
I came in November of 2010, so it's almost 12 years.
Wow, that's a nice amount of time. So you've definitely been moving the organization in a really positive direction. I mean, it's called a detox center. Am I saying the right term?
Yeah, so it is part of the behavioral health, care continuum. So, yeah, it's really been quite the transformation of, we used to have about 90 youth in residential beds on our campus in 7 different group homes mm-hmm. Throughout Monroe County. And that has completely shifted and changed now because really you need to be in the community. There are so many underlying issues really around mental health or substance use or trauma mm-hmm. That has happened in a young person's life or an individual's life to be able to really help to address those issues to mm-hmm. then move them forward to impact social determinants of health. Because at the end of the day, where somebody lives, works, goes to school, community safety, all of that impacts 40% of somebody's physical health. And so that's why those 4 core areas that I kind of described are so important to the impact of that.
I imagine that the COVID-19 pandemic had an impact on the community in these respects. What have you been seeing? Is there a trend? Are we getting better, worse, maybe getting better after having gotten worse? Or
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I was just looking we just had our gala this past weekend, and I kept looking at the numbers. It is, it's interesting. It for us at Villa of Hope, it's certainly shifted the services for us. So we stayed open. We actually moved a lot of our staff remote. We were able to move our outpatient clinic to telehealth. And we still had some services on campus. So we actually had kind of frontline staff working with COVID-positive young people during this last, 18 months. So it's been interesting in terms of the opportunities to do work a little bit differently. And I always say, don't waste a good crisis. I think we've learned how to do things better. And I think it really sped up our strategy plan around deciding what was really core services, because you only have so many resources. In terms of COVID in general, what we're definitely seeing with those that we serve in our own staff is the numbers, really decreased about 6 months ago. Now you see them increasing again. But we also see people not getting as ill. And I'm sure that that's based on the vaccine rates and just herd immunity. But I think we all kind of have landed in the place of this, probably will be something that we'll continue to live with, just like the flu.
Right.
And I think, just the continued efforts in our community and the research around this and paying attention to infectious disease in a way that we haven't before.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It's given us a heightened awareness of something we probably should have been aware of all along. After all, the flu is a great example of something that's been, potentially quite serious that maybe we haven't given enough, bandwidth to. So, it sounds like you're doing wonderful things in a very important arena, and the new center sounds wonderful. You mentioned like a grand opening. Is that scheduled yet? Is there a date that people should put on their calendars?
So we just received our certificate of occupancy actually this week.
Awesome.
So from here we go to, we go to our state organization, Office of Alcohol and Substance Use, to be able to get our license. And then because it is a medical facility, we need to get our DEA license. So we're thinking it could be anywhere from 30 to 60 days. But as soon as I know a grand opening date, I will let you know.
Wonderful.
And even more exciting is that this building has been named by the Policini Foundation in honor of Gregory E. Policini.
Oh, wonderful! That's great.
So we just unveiled that at our gala this past week, and so that's really exciting, and we're quite grateful for that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I am delighted for you. We're ready to celebrate with you. Christina Gullo, President and CEO, Villa of Hope, thank you so much for joining us here today on Business Voice.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. All right, don't go away. Don't flip that dial. We've got another guest coming.
WYSL Avon Rochester.
Funerals can be expensive. You may be surprised to learn that you can get Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Homes 5-star service at a price you can afford. They understand one price doesn't fit all and strive to ensure that your needs are met within your budget. Their family of funeral homes are a part of helping to achieve that goal. But above all else, they promise quality service. The details are taken care of so you can focus on what's important. Find out more by calling Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home at 720-6000.
Enjoy dozens of exhibits related to your home and your health at the Greece Regional Chamber's 2022 Health and Home Expo at the Mall at Greece Ridge on Saturday, June 4th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lead sponsors are LaChase Construction Services, Bartolomeo and Perotto Funeral Home, Bryant and Stratton College, Home Instead Senior Care, 13 WHAM ABC, and WYSL. To find out more, visit us online today at greecechamber.org. The Greece Regional Chamber's Health and Home Expo at the Mall at Greece Ridge on Saturday, June 4th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Safeguarding your freedoms and your future. The WYSL stations.
Welcome back. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Bartolomeo and Perotto Funeral Home. I'm Sarah Lentini, your host, as always. I'm also president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. It's now my great pleasure to welcome my next guest, Michael King of Century Benefits Group. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you on the show. Century Benefits Group is right there on White Spruce Boulevard in Rochester, and you've been there for a while, right? Tell us about...
I've been here since 2000, actually.
Oh, that is quite a while.
A long time, yeah.
Yeah, it's 22 years ago. Can you believe 2000 is 22? I know, it's amazing. And where did you start the company, Michael, or did you?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I used to work for the large insurance companies years ago, and I thought it was beneficial to kind of start my own company. We mainly focus on small to medium-sized companies.
Nice.
Or organizations. We do nonprofits also.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these smaller groups don't have a full staff of human resources or full staff to handle everything. So we sort of become their arm for a lot of the benefits that they handle.
And are the benefits like health insurance or?
Yeah, we mostly focus on pretty much everything to do with employee benefits.
Okay.
We focus on health and dental insurance is the big two.
Mm-hmm.
We also do group insurance, which includes group life, group disability, group vision insurance for employers. And we also do 401k plans for employers also.
Oh, that's a lot. I didn't realize you did all those things. So you really are functioning. You're offering what's missing, I guess, would be the question. Is there anything missing?
One thing we do, we specialize. We started doing this about 15 years ago. Is we also specialize in group and individual Medicare plans for seniors.
Ah.
That's becoming a very complex area now, especially when seniors are turning Medicare eligible.
Yep.
You know, what drugs are they taking? What plan is best for them? Do they travel outside the area? Do they stay locally? So we help them sort out. First, we help them sign up for Medicare, which a lot of individuals and seniors need help with.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is we help them select a Medicare plan that's best for themselves.
Yeah, and that's a much more complex universe than just regular, garden variety health insurance, right?
It is. It incorporates a lot of things in there.
Yeah.
The big piece of the puzzle now happens to become the prescription drug use.
Mm-hmm.
Prescription drugs have gone up very high in price.
Oh, yeah.
And not all insurance companies cover all drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So we do an analysis for all of our customers to see what insurance companies cover the drugs that they're taking,
mm-hmm.
and also look at the benefits in regards to the health benefits. And the cost, obviously, is important, too. Can the consumer afford to pay the cost of whatever plan they select?
Yeah, but it's crazy, isn't it? And it can even change from year to year. If my experience is accurate, where it's worth checking every single year that you're renewing your insurance to make sure that, if the company that you were working with still covers a particular drug that's important to you, right? Because
that's right. We call it the formulary.
Mm-hmm.
The formulary of each insurance company does change from year to year, especially on the Medicare side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. Especially if you're taking a brand drug that's expensive, we want to make sure that's going to be covered in the next year. So we do analysis for our customers every year to make sure that the drug plan they have is best for them.
What a great service, because it's such an overwhelming job to try to navigate Medicare in particular, and as you said, the drug formularies, the list of drugs that particular health insurance company covers for Medicare from one year to the next. It's great that you're helping people figure all that out. And what does it cost for people to come to you?
There's no cost for us, actually. We get paid by the insurance company, so there's no fee that we charge to help somebody enroll in Medicare or select a Medicare plan. So there's no cost for our service. It's kind of nice to the consumer.
It sure is.
We get paid by the insurance companies directly, so it really is a nice benefit.
Yeah, and that's generally true in the health insurance arena, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty much true. For smaller size companies, less than 100 employees, the insurance companies pay us to service the account, to set the account up, to do the work, and give it employee education for the employees. Same thing on the Medicare side, to explain the plans to the individuals. And we pretty much represent almost every health insurance and Medicare company in New York State.
Wow.
So we're not limited to just one company. We probably do all of them for the most part.
Which is...
because everybody has different needs.
Yeah, and that's really important for the consumer because you're not a captive agent. You're not working with just one company and just their products. You're really going to show a customer of yours anything and everything that might be relevant to them and help them pick the thing that's really the best fit for them from a variety of perspectives. So that's great. And you're on White Spruce Boulevard. That sounds like it's in the
right across from Monroe Community College.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And a lot of our customers do come to our office for consultation, for help and support.
That's great. And do you have, you've got a staff there with you, correct?
Yeah, we do. We have a service person who serves our account. We also have another person in our office who specializes in Medicare also. And it's a full-time job. Just one person does the Medicare analysis and reviews with the consumers. So, and it's close, including myself. So we do have a staff of about 4 people.
And you started in 2000, you said, right?
Yeah, right.
I think we did some heavy math at the beginning of the show. I'm teasing. But, and you said you were in the insurance business before this, so...
Yeah, I was working for the large insurance companies doing employee benefits for large companies. I work with some large insurance, and most of our clients are larger companies that we work with.
That's great.
And not a lot of insurance companies work directly with the smaller agencies, smaller companies, less than 100 employees. It's time-consuming. It's expensive for them. They have to hire staff. So they like it when we can be more of a hands-hold approach to the smaller groups. Maybe somebody has 10, 15, or even 5 employees, or even smaller. A lot of our customers are their first time ever getting health insurance for their employees.
Right.
So that's kind of unique. They've never went through the process before.
Right.
They're not sure what's available. So we become really a consultant to them in regards to the benefits.
And it doesn't cost the company anything either, does it?
No cost to the company, no.
Yeah.
We get paid by the insurance companies directly
to
do the servicing, to set up the plans, but there's no cost to the employer or the consumer for our services.
I think a lot of people think that if they, go and talk to a broker for health insurance, that they're going to end up having to spend money for that guidance. And so it's really nice to be able to surface that, look at all the experience you and your team have, right? Century Benefits has been around since 2000, and then you've got countless additional years of experience in the insurance industry before that. So you've got a lot of experience, Michael. We won't take it any further than that.
But I don't know how many years it's been, but
right. Yeah, but you didn't just start doing this, which is really nice. And then you've got you're not just offering medical health insurance. For people who are under 65, but to be able to offer Medicare as well, which is such an important thing as baby boomers start to hit the Medicare lines there in large numbers, and of course it's projected to grow, so it's a really important service that you're providing.
We also have sole proprietor customers that can contact us, so we also do individual health insurance for individuals.
That's great.
That's also a piece of the puzzle.
That's wonderful. You probably aren't doing them right now, but you do on occasion provide some, educational seminars, don't you, for folks?
We do. Usually every quarter we'll do a Medicare seminar, and it's really designed for people who are 64 years of age or 63, and they're becoming Medicare eligible either this year or very soon. So we have a seminar to educate them on how Medicare works. It's really educational design. What are the pitfalls, and what is Medicare? How is Medicare designed? How they sign up for Medicare? What are the different types of Medicare plans that are available? So we do this seminar usually every quarter, and we invite people who are becoming Medicare eligible in the near future.
That's great. And if somebody had questions now, be they, somebody interested in Medicare or somebody interested in group insurance, how would they reach out to you to get some help?
Directly at 224-8138. That's our office number. Or they can send me an email also. And my email is mking, K-I-N-G, at about, A-B-O-U-T, Century, CENTURY.com.
Wonderful. Michael King, owner, principal of Century Benefits Group on White Spruce Boulevard. It's 400 White Spruce Boulevard. Thank you so much for being here today on Business Voice.
Thank you very much.
It's been great talking to you. All right, don't go away. We've got one more guest. Don't flip that dial.
Every life has a story. Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home takes pride in helping families navigate the path to telling their loved one's unique story. It's difficult to avoid sadness at a time of loss, but sharing stories, pictures, and personal items can lead to a path of healing as you remember how special they were. Bartolomeo and Prado certified celebrants help to create a meaningful celebration. If you are in need or want to learn more, contact Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home at 720-6000.
Enjoy dozens of exhibits related to your home and your health at the Greece Regional Chamber's 2022 Health and Home Expo at the Mall at Greece Ridge on Saturday, June 4th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lead sponsors are LaChase Construction Services, Bartolomeo and Perotto Funeral Home, Bryant and Stratton College, Home Instead Senior Care, 13 WHAM ABC, and WYSL. To find out more, visit us online today at greecechamber.org. The Greece Regional Chamber's Health and Home Expo at the Mall at Greece Ridge on Saturday, June 4th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Depositing your money with Genesee Regional Bank helps strengthen the local community. That's because GRB lends its deposits so the community can grow and prosper. Genesee Regional Bank. Community banking, community building.
Visit grbbank.com. Member FDIC.
Shop the WYSL store 24 hours for official apparel, drinkware, and gift ideas at WYSL1040.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Bartolomeo and Perotto Funeral Home. I am Sarah Lentini, your host, and also the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber. I am so delighted to welcome my next guest, Tami Becker of GRASP. Welcome, Tammy.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So for people that might not know, what is GRASP? And that's an acronym, right? What does it stand for?
It is. It's kind of a mouthful. It is Greece Residents Assisting Stray Pets.
Lovely. And so you guys are all about animals.
We are, both cats and dogs. Some people are not aware we do dogs as well, but rescuing about 400 to 500 annually every year.
Wow, that's a big number. And that's just in Greece that you're rescuing 400 to 500 pets?
Well, that's our main mission. Let's start with that. So to the extent we have resources, we would help area communities as well. But our primary mission, like I said, is to Greece. And sometimes we can't even help everyone that needs it in Greece.
Wow. And so take me through kind of a regular day. Are people calling your office and saying, you know, I know of a kitty or a puppy that's been abandoned, or that showed up here in our office and we don't know where it's coming from. Can you come and help? How does that happen? How does that work?
Yeah. I don't know if rescue has a typical day, but as I say, kittens fall from the sky, especially this time of year. But yes, we have surrender request forms on our website, so sometimes they come in through there, people moving, going into assisted living, change in circumstances, be it job or health or whatever. So that's one way they come to us. The other way is we are the only outlet from Greece Animal Control. So if a pet is picked up by them and no one comes to claim it, or sometimes owners can even surrender to animal control, then if they're lucky, then they come to us.
Yeah. And do you have a facility? I mean, you probably don't give away the address. I don't know that I would, but You have a place that you're able to keep animals overnight, and do you have veterinarian assistance? How does that work too?
We don't have a shelter. We don't have any shelter at all. There's pros and cons to both models, but we are 100% volunteer and foster based.
Wow.
So we have fosters far and wide. They do not have to live solely in Greece. And veterinarians, we use a number of local veterinarians in the area. It's necessary to use more than one, especially, like I said, during busy seasons, such as when kittens are ready to go. But yes, so our fosters are very committed, dedicated volunteers that our organization could not survive without.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that's amazing. So you basically have a very big network of, and I'm guessing that they're pre-vetted foster homes, basically, right?
Exactly. So we vet them, as you say, in the same manner we would anyone considering adoption. So if the foster, let's say, for example, they get a foster pet they can't live without, they can certainly move forward and adopt that pet. They have the first right to do that. But many of our fosters have already done that.
I bet.
Once or twice.
Yeah, I bet they have.
So at that point, they understand the benefits of moving them on so that they can help others. Mm-hmm. And I describe that as bittersweet. So it's very rewarding, but it takes a piece of their heart at the same time. Yeah. But again, the good they're doing in the community is just huge.
Absolutely. What a great model. I love it. I think that's got to be far better for the animals, too, that they're not just being put into a big, holding pen, but that they're actually going to a home and a loving home, even if it is temporary. Yeah.
And since COVID, so Petco in Greece is our rescue partner, but we haven't been back there to hold our adoption events since COVID because it does attract a lot of people in a small space. But now people are getting the benefit of going into the foster home for the most part and meeting the kitty or dog that they're interested in. So really getting a better picture of what that animal is like in a home environment.
That's great. That's wonderful. And you said it's all volunteer-driven, and you're on the board of directors, correct?
Correct. My role this year is a PR and marketing, and I have co-coordinated a CAT team in the past. So this is a new role for me, but it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah.
How long?
But yes, we are volunteer from president on down, is what I say.
Wow! So it's a labor of love for everybody involved, which is also wonderful, but not surprising. I think when people love animals, people are very passionate when they love animals. There's a lot of kind people out there who want to do anything they can for the large number of innocent souls out there that need homes and love. So how long have you been involved with GRASP?
So I think I'm on my 13th year with this rescue. So
wow, it's
quite a while. But yeah, we've been around over 25 years. Very grassroots start.
Yep.
With a woman that just saw that pets did not have an outlet from Greece Animal Control if they were not being claimed by an owner. And she started taking some home, finding permanent homes for them, and recruited some help. And the story just goes from there.
The rest is history. And you mentioned it like it's a model. Are there other, have you guys been an inspiration for other communities to set up something similar?
I'm going to say not that I'm aware of, but, there are a number of rescues around, and definitely people should do their homework. And as I said, there's a pro and a con. Sometimes, if we had a shelter, sometimes that might allow us to take in more animals, but we have to have a foster available in order to say yes. Mm-hmm. So, again, there's both pros and cons to different shelters,
right.
But we have been around quite some time, so we've done a lot of good in the community.
And you were talking about how you carefully vet the folks that are going to be provide foster homes for dogs and cats, but you also carefully vet folks that are looking to adopt, right? Perhaps even more carefully. Tell us a little bit about that process.
So it does start with an application online, and probably one of the funniest things someone ever told me was that we we vet them more to have a pet than they did to have a child, which is probably a true statement. So, yeah, there's an application process. I say we are not a cash and carry rescue, so when we were at Petco, we would have cute little kittens in the cages, and families would come in and maybe no intent, they came in for fish food, for example, and have no intent of adopting a pet and might want to do so based on seeing one. But we prefer that people go home and think about it.
Of course.
You adopt a kitten or a dog, it could be easily a 15-year commitment.
Yep.
So, life will change, little kids will go off to college and so on. So it's something we definitely want you to be prepared for. So we verify that all of the current pets that you own are altered and up to date, unless a very good reason why. And you have to be in sync with some of our other values. So fortunately, the law is on our side now for no more declawing, and we're thrilled about that.
That is good. Very good. Yeah. I'm so glad to hear that you are so careful with the folks that you pick for both foster homes and adoptive homes. I think that's incredibly important. As much as we may be anxious to find homes for needy dogs and cats, we also want to make sure that they're good homes. So thank you very much for the work that you do, you and everybody else at GRASP. So Tammy, before I let you go, if folks are interested in connecting with you guys, how do they reach you?
They can go on our website, which is graspinc.org, O-R-G, as a nonprofit. There's lots of information there, including ways to volunteer with us, to support us through whether monetary donations or purchasing things from our wish list. We have a number of events coming up. People can support us by attending those events, learning more about us, or getting involved. We'd be happy to talk to anyone that's interested in volunteering some of their time. Again, sometimes people don't have time if they have a little extra money. That all makes a difference to us. But lots of ways they can help.
Okay. And Tammy, one last time, that web address is?
It is graspinc, so INC.org.
Graspinc.org, right?
Yes.
Graspinc.org. Tami Becker from the Board of Directors of GRASP, thank you so much for being with us here today on Business Voice.
My pleasure. Thank you, Sarah, for your time.
You're very welcome. All right, that just about does it for us here today on Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce sponsored by Bartolomeo and Perotto Funeral Home. You've been listening to our program today. That means that you've heard Phil Pecora, President and CEO of the Genesee Regional Bank, Christina Gullo, President and CEO of Villa of Hope, Michael King, the principal behind Century Benefits Group, and, of course, Tami Becker from the Board of Directors of GRASP. Thanks so much to all of them for being our guests here today on Business Voice. If you want to learn more about the Chamber, membership, services, events, please check us out on the web, greecechamber.org. That's greecechamber.org. And for anybody who's interested, we've got a Health and Home Expo coming up on Saturday, June 4th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the mall at Greece Ridge. Free and open to the public. Come check us out. Again, that's Saturday, June 4th, 10 to 1 p.m. at the mall at Greece Ridge. All right, until next time, be well.
You've been listening to Business Voice. The Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce serves businesses, nonprofits, and individuals throughout the region, focusing on promoting economic and community development and serving as the voice for business. The Chamber offers networking, education, advocacy, community events, and business services. It serves as an important platform for business leaders and citizens to come together in support of common goals.